Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Unati Ravanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribhajagacharya Ashto Tarasata Shishimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki. Iskambi Biti founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Sadguru Swami Prabhu ki. Itagor Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga. Continuing the reading from a Transcendental Diary, Srila Prabhupada, 25th of September 1976 in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the class, just since most were not here yesterday, about how the Vedas are the spiritual origin of violence. Prabhupada made this point many times. Actually, Srila Prabhupada said, which I've said before here, but it's a very interesting thing. Srila Prabhupada said that we must fight. Krishna consciousness means to fight. He said that Krishna was fighting from 3 months old up to the end. So therefore we must also fight. This is our tradition. So our fighting in this age, Sangopangastra Parshadam. Our weapons are the holy name and the purity of the devotees and their consciousness. The associates of Krishna, dancing and chanting. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that that actually he was speaking about this verse, Krishna Varnatvisha Krishnam, this particular verse of the Bhagavatam, which is explaining Lord Chaitanya, that he comes to chant these syllables, Krishna. So, in his purport, in explaining that, he said that just as Lord Chaitanya's personal associates in the Panchatattva and other associates, all of his different associates that appeared with him, they began the Sankirtan movement, and the devotees who are now under the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, they are continuing this same Sankirtan Yajna, this same Chaitanya Charitamrita, and this same Bhagavatam. In other words, the Bhagavatam is always expanding. It began in the beginning of the universe with 4 verses. And it expands, and it expands, and expands. And Shukadev expanded it to its classical presentation 5,000 years ago. But the devotees of the Lord, the 6 Goswamis, expanded the Bhagavatam, the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, unlimitedly. Brihat Bhagavatamrita expanded the pastimes of Krishna unlimitedly. And devotees continue by speaking on the Bhagavatam to expand the glories of the Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining here that everything, even violence, whatever we see, has its origin in Krishna. He compared the Vedas to the desire trees of the spiritual world, which can supply anything on demand. Vedas can give you all different types of knowledge, namely material knowledge and spiritual knowledge, both perfectly. Because we have forgotten our spiritual energy, we do not cultivate spiritual energy. Therefore, the Veda is there. Thus, knowledge of warfare is included in the Vedas. So the killing art is there. You cannot make it null and void by advocating nonviolence. No. That is required. Violence is also a part of the society. Just like here is some itching sensation. This is violence. That is required for the comfort. So similarly, Arjuna was Kshatriya. He knew the art of killing. And Krishna also, he appeared as a Kshatriya in the dynasty of the Kshatriyas. Vasudev, son of Vasudev. He also knew the art of killing. That is also one part of his business. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Paritanaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam. So vinasha requires violence. So So we cannot decry violence. Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita, the science of God, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. We cannot condemn violence. That is not possible. But there is no violence in the spiritual world. That is a fact. Violence is only in the material world. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishna Krishna Saka Vish. I'm going to read the book. Vishvisha Bhavani Drup Rajanya Vamsha Dahanana Pavagya Birya Govinda Godvija Surarti Haravatara Yogeshvara Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste Shri Krishna Krishna Saka Vishvisha Bhavani Drup Rajanya Vamsa Dahana Bapagya Vidya Govinda Godvija Surati Haravatara Yogeshvara Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste Shri Krishna Krishna Saka Vishvisha Bhavani Drup Rajanya Vamsa Dahana Napavagya Vidya Govinda Godvija Surati Haravatara Yogeshvara Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste Krishna Krishna Saka Vishvani Rajanya Vamsa Dahanana Pavagya Vidya Govinda Godvija Surati Haravatara Vigakilo Guru Bhagavan Namaste Krishna Krishna Saka Vishvisha Bhavanani Drup Rajasya Vamsa Dahana Pavaga Vidya Govinda Godvija Surati Haravatara Yogeshvara Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste Shri Krishna Krishna Saka Vishvisha Bhavani Drup Govinda Godvija Surati Haravatara Yogeshvara Akila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Krishna Krishna Saka Vishvisha Bhavanidu Arajanya Vamsha Dahanana Pavagavirya Govinda Godija Surati Haravatara Yogeshvara Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Vaishnavis. Shri Krishna Krishna Saka Vishvisha Bhavani Du Rajanya Vamsa Dahanana Pavaga Virya Govinda Godija Surati Haravatara Yogeshvara Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Shri Krishna, O Shri Krishna, Krishna Saka, O friend of Arjuna, Vishnu, of the descendants of Vishnu, Rishabha, O chief of Ani, the earth, Duk, rebellious, Rajanya Vamsa, dynasties of the kings, Dahana, O annihilator, Anapavaga, without deterioration of, Birya, prowess, Govinda, O proprietor of Gokula Dham, O proprietor of Goloka Dham, Go, of the cows, Dvija, the Brahmanas, Sura, the demigods, Artihara, to relieve the distress, Avatara, the Lord who descends, Yoga Ishvara, O Master of all mystic powers, Akila, universal, Guru, O preceptor, Bhagavan, O possessor of all opulences, Namate, respectful obeisances unto you. O translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief amongst the descendants of Vishnu. You are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distress of the cows, the Brahmins, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances. Please repeat. O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief amongst the descendants of Vishnu, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode. And you descend to relieve the distresses of the cows, the Brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisance. Purport. A summary of the Supreme Lord Krishna is made herein by Srimati Kunti Devi. The Almighty Lord has his eternal transcendental abode where he is engaged in keeping Surabhi cows. He is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune, and he descends on the material world to reclaim his devotees and to annihilate the disturbing elements in groups of political parties and kings who are supposed to be in charge of the administration work. He creates, maintains, and annihilates by his unlimited energies. And still, he is always full with prowess and does not deteriorate in potency. The cows, the Brahmins, and the devotees of the Lord are all objects of his special attention because they are important factors for the general welfare of the living beings. Om Jnana-timirandasya ganam-jana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya-namo vishtam stapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kadatmahyam dadati swapadantikam. This is a very wonderful verse in which Kunti Devi summarizes her exposition to Krishna, her petition, her prayers. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that prayers, by their very nature, imply a petition. We must ask something from Krishna because Krishna is maintaining all of us. Krishna is the primordial, first progenitor from which everything descends. Nityo nityanas chetanas chetananam yo bahunam vidadati kamam. That Krishna is always a person. He is the supreme person. He is the supreme eternal, and he is the supreme conscious. And everyone depends on him. So therefore, when we offer a prayer, it must contain some petition, some request. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said the request of the pure devotee of the Lord is that you give me the ability to serve you better. Please give me purity of heart and purity of purpose, purity of motive. If our motives are pure, then our consciousness will be pure, our service will be pure. But if our motives are mixed, something for Krishna, something for me, or everything for me, and Krishna doesn't need anything anyway, because he's supreme. So better I just ask for me. Why ask for Krishna? And even if he needs something, he's got so many servants, goddesses of fortune, full of all kinds of wealth, and I'm poor. So therefore, let me get something from Krishna. All kinds of different motives to approach Krishna. But these motives will not, they do not display pure devotion, and therefore they do not attract the attention of Krishna. But here, Queen Kunti is so desirous of attracting the attention of Krishna that in the verse before the last verse, she says that very interesting. O personality, the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection with my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. So, Srila Prabhupada explains that why did she say that? Because it was very confusing. Her whole mentality when she was offering these prayers is that we want you to stay here, but now that you have installed us as the rulers of Hastinapur, now you're going to Dwarka. You're leaving us. So I would like you to stay here, but I'm also related to the Vrishnis, And I know that they want you to be there, and therefore all this family consideration is too confusing. Therefore, better we just cut it off. But in this verse, and then in the verse after that, she says, why? Because I want my mind to go undisturbed toward you. I want, just like the Ganga goes toward you. Lord Kapila Dev, he emphasized this point even more. That Madguna Shuti Matrena. That I want, by my hearing of Krishna, I want to hear about Krishna. And when I hear, just like Lord Kapila Dev said in another place, that Satam Prasangam Mama Viryasam Vido Bhavanti Ritkarna Rasayana Kata. I want the words and the glorification of Krishna, who is the supremely powerful, most wonderful personality of Godhead, or those that glorify Him according to His wonderful qualities. I want it to enter into my ears and reach the heart. I don't want it to stay on the intellectual platform. I don't want to see Krishna intellectually, try to figure Him out. No. Nobody can figure out Krishna. Even Anantadev with thousands of mouths cannot fully glorify Krishna. No. Therefore, I don't want to figure Him out. I don't want to try to understand Him through mental ability. And I want Him to be the Lord of my senses, and the object of my senses. I don't want my senses, I don't want to try to see Krishna only with my senses. Atashi Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grahyam Indriyai. This is impossible, she says. So, our Kapila Dev says. And therefore, and knowing Krishna shouldn't be such a difficult thing. No. Mai Sarva Guhashaye. Because He's right in the heart. Nobody can get closer. How can anyone get closer to you? No. I mean, somebody can, be right in your face, and maybe technically speaking. But actually, because I'm here, I'm also in the heart. Krishna's the closest person. It shouldn't be very difficult to consult with Krishna. He's right there. Half an inch away. 1 centimeter. So, shouldn't be very difficult. Why is it difficult? Simply because we don't understand who Krishna is. Therefore, manogatir avichchina. Therefore, to understand Krishna in that very unique location, I want my mind to go toward Him, avichchina, without any interference. No interference. I don't want anything to be in the way. And just like Yata Gangam Vasom Budhao, just like Ganga Devi flows, nobody can impede the Ganga. So too powerful, too great, too big. So many devotees in our movement have lost their lives in the Ganga. Her powerful currents are so strong. If you don't know how to swim and you get caught in the currents of the Ganga, then goodbye. Even one time, I'm a fairly good swimmer. One time I got caught in the Ganga and took me out in the middle, and I got caught in a whirlpool between the Ganga and the Jalangi. And I was just going around and around. I couldn't get out. It was like a very strong current. It was during the rainy season. This whirlpool just pulling me down. Finally I said, Hare Krishna. At least I'm in the Ganga. If I have to leave, what a wonderful place to be. I just kind of passed out, and then I woke up and I was on the bank of the Ganga. I was just floating up against the bank. So very powerful current. No one can stop. So I want my thoughts, I want my words, I want everything, my very existence, my whole consciousness to flow toward Krishna. Lakshanam Bhakti Yoga Sya. And this is done by the wonderful characteristics which are found in the process of devotional service. Nirgunasya Yadahritam. And that devotional service is unadulterated. It has no material qualities. It has no material aspects. It is fully concentrated in the heart of hearts, in the very core of our existence. And then ahoituk yavyavahita. And it is causeless, and it can never be interfered with. It's totally uncontaminated. Ya bhakti purushottame. And it is manifested fully in worshipping that Supreme Person who is above all. So this was Lord Kapila Dev's prayer, a little more expanded than Queen Kunti's prayer. So first she said, in order for my mind to flow like this, I have to cut off my ties to my kinsmen. But Srila Prabhupada explains that what she's saying is, any material aspect of those relationships, I want it cut off. Because we can see so many people have children, so many people have husband, wife. Nowadays that's not so popular, but it's the Vedic tradition. And husband, wife, father, mother, we all have fathers and mothers. Pretty difficult to exist without that in this world. And we have children, so many things, so many relatives, and so much affection. So that affection is very wonderful if they are devotees. But if they're not devotees, if they're actually not dedicated to Krishna, then better to cut it off if you want to be a pure devotee. Now, cut it off doesn't mean that I don't perform my responsibilities. And it means that if I have children, that my main duty is to make them Krishna conscious. Because otherwise, if they're not Krishna conscious and I'm not Krishna conscious, then that affection will simply take me farther away from Krishna. Although the whole process of having children and having a mother and father and a sense of duty to serve them is all meant to indirectly bring us to the point of bhakti. Because there's bhakti there. There's devotion. It's just not Krishna bhakti. It's son bhakti, daughter bhakti, mother bhakti, father bhakti. But not Krishna bhakti. Therefore, in this verse that we're considering now, Shri Krishna is Krishna Sakha. Oh, I know Krishna, that Arjuna and Draupadi, Srila Prabhupada mentions in his exposition on this verse, that Krishna and Krishna, so Krishna Sakha means Arjuna and Draupadi. But Arjuna, she's saying here, Arjuna is a greater devotee. She doesn't say Shri Krishna Kunti Sakha. No. She says Arjuna Sakha. My relationship is that you show me some reverence. But Arjuna, he's more fortunate because you joke with him, you hang out with him, he hangs out with you. You have this wonderful, friendly relationship. I cannot have that. So Arjuna is my son. And therefore, how can you worship Krishna without worshiping Krishna's devotees? This is impossible. This is totally unheard of. You can't worship Krishna. In the Adi Purana, I can't remember the verse right now, but it says that if one thinks that one is a devotee of Krishna, that person, Krishna says, is actually not my devotee. But he who is the devotee of my devotee, he is my real devotee. That person is my real devotee. So, how can she say that I want to cut it off? No, I want to cut off all the material parts. I only want to see Arjuna as Krishna Sakha. I don't want to see Arjuna as Kunti Sakha, or Kunti Putra. No, I want to see Arjuna in relation to Krishna. I want to see Yudhishthira in relation to Krishna. I want to see all the Vrishnis as Krishna's servants. Then, yes, these ties of affection are very important. The affection which is triangulated through Krishna. I see them through Krishna, in terms of serving Krishna, in terms of loving Krishna. This is how I see them. then it all has great meaning. So Sri Krishna, she began Sri Krishna. Oh, my dear Lord, Krishna, you are the most attractive, you are the most wonderful. She is expressing it here in her last prayer that Krishna, you are the object of my devotion. So therefore she begins Sri Krishna. Now, the gopis, they would never say Sri Krishna. They would say Krishna and Rama. Because their relationship is very intimate. And therefore they don't say Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna means with reverence. Namaste. They don't say, the gopis don't say Namaste. They say, Krishna, why did you play your flute and then send us home? No. You are a lampata. No. Why are you hanging out? Why do you go from one gopi to another, just like the bees go from one flower to another, collecting the nectar? Srimati Radharani, and Lord Chaitanya prays in the mood of Srimati Radharani in the second chapter of Madhya Lila that Krishna, no, you must immediately take me. How long will this youthful beauty last? Only for a few moments. Only for a few days, she said. No. That the prime beauty in a young girl, it's only a few days, well, maybe a few years, no, in our consideration. But she's saying Krishna is so picky, so particular, that I only have a window of a few days. So therefore, you're telling me, Krishna, you're telling me to be patient, to wait. My friends are telling me, wait, be patient. Krishna, no, I can't be patient. I only have a few days window, this little small opportunity that Krishna will be attracted to me. Otherwise, just like a bee, he'll take the pollen and then he'll go somewhere else. Therefore, I must serve him intensely and attract his mind totally to me before this moment of beauty goes away. Just like young girls, they try to maintain themselves very beautiful, especially when they're single. No. Afterwards, maybe not so much effort. No. But at that time, no, this is the time. So this comes from Krishna. No. This tendency, all our tendencies, everything we do, it comes from Krishna. No. Of course, a lady always wants to be beautiful. Even you see 60, 70 years old, they're still decorating. And that nature, it's the nature of feminine existence. Unless, of course, we see pure devotee ladies in Vrindavan or renounced ladies, they're not so much interested. They shave their heads. They chant the holy name all day long, do service. But as long as we're in that consciousness, we're in the consciousness of the body, then we all try to decorate ourselves, men, women. As long as we're in bodily consciousness, we're concerned about these things. Of course, Srila Prabhupada said that ladies should dress very beautifully for Krishna. They should be very beautiful for Krishna. This is always valid. So, then Krishna Saka, we discussed that. Vrishni Rishabh, Avani. So, you are the chief, you are the main person. In his prayers, which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offers to Lord Jagannath, he says the same thing. He says that Yadabhabara, we have our devotee Yadubhara. So, famous filmmaker, Kavi Karnapur is following in his footsteps. Famous filmmaker, Yadubhara, the best of the Yadus, the best of the Vrishnis, Vrishni Risha. And so Avani Drug. So he says Avani Drug, Rajana Vamsa Dahana. So this is another aspect, that these rascals who are Druk means rebellious, They're so rebellious. Therefore, avani druk. You come to this world, as Srila Prabhupada we just read in Transcendental Diary, Yada yada hi dharmashir ani bhavati bharata apyutanam adharmasya. You come, paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya chaduskritam. You come to annihilate these people, rebellious kings. Here we're speaking about rebellious kings. Krishna annihilates them. Rebellious people, Krishna facilitates them. He loves us so much because He is the maintainer of all living entities. This is also being spoken about here. She says that you are the maintainer. Anapabharga Birya. You have unlimited prowess. Meaning that you maintain everyone. As I just said before, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetanam Chetananam Eko Bahuna Vidadhachi Kaman. You maintain everyone, even if they're rebellious. Just like even sometimes, especially in strict Vedic culture, if a young girl goes off with a man, not being married, the family rejects them. Go out. You're finished. No reputation, nowhere to go. Just like the 16,000 queens who were taken away by Bhaumasura. When Krishna rescued them, they said, Krishna, now you have to marry us. Otherwise, we have no home, we have no destiny. What can we do? No one will accept us. Our families will reject us. We were married to a demon. Just by being with that demon, they are married. No. Just by being with this demon, they were married. So they said, now the demon's dead and we've already been married. There was no question. And in those times, 5,000 years ago, in Vedic times, there was no question of being remarried. In Satya Yuga, it's stated in different parts of the Vedas that sometimes Kshatriya women and Brahmin women, sometimes they would have intimate relations before getting married. Somehow or another that was allowed in Satya Yuga. The Apsaras, they can do that. And they're not rejected. That's their service. So in different parts of the universe, in different times, but nowadays, in Vedic terms, especially in Kali Yuga, this is not allowed. Although it's done, nowadays it's done very fashionably. But it's not allowed. So, just by being with someone, if even in Vedic times it was so strict that we see in the Bhagavatam and different Puranas that when a lady would go out, a cultured lady would go out of her house or her palace, she would go in a palanquin with curtains. No one would see her, practically speaking, except for her husband, her family members, her friends. That was how strict, very strict society. This is why Varnashram exists. Varnashram exists principally to control the attraction between man and woman. The whole Varnashram system is based on this principle. This is the main purpose, to control the relationship between man and woman, to have a structure there so that this attraction, which is so strong within the material world, will not go out of control. And there are many other purposes, but this is the main purpose of Varnashram. And nowadays we see no one wants Varnashram because they don't want that. No, they don't want this control. No one wants to be controlled. Although everyone is controlled. We're controlled by the weather, we're controlled by our mind, we're controlled by our senses, we're controlled by work, we're controlled by so many things. And we gladly accept that. But we don't want to be controlled by Krishna. No. I can be controlled by anything else but Krishna. No. But Krishna, everything is optional. No. Maybe when I need it, sometimes, when I'm distressed, that's okay. Then I'll accept Krishna's control. But in other times, no Krishna control. No. But I will be controlled by as Govinda Das says in his prayer, by a Durijan. I can be controlled by Durija, or what is it? What's the first word? Can't think of it right now. But Kripana. Yeah, I can be controlled by a Kripana or a Durija, and that's okay. No, I will go every day and faithfully serve them, and they will give me some money. Yeah, I can, but not. I can't be controlled by Krishna. No, that's not. No. So we're so foolish. No. It should be all the other way around. Actually, Narottam Das Thakur, he says that I worship anyone who worships Tasabara Padarena Mori Panchagras. Anyone who accepts these 6 Goswamis and their teachings as my very essence. I want to associate with those people. Those are the people that I want to be controlled by. No. Not some Kripana or Durija. No. This is who I will be controlled by. But we're just the opposite. No, the Guru is unreasonable. No. He's giving me all these rules and regulations that interfere with my natural lifestyle. Everybody else is so happy and they're doing what they want. And he said, do this, do that, chant, get up early, do all these things. Don't do this, don't do that. So many don'ts. Everybody's doing it and I can't do it. So this is unreasonable. But Narottam Das Thakur, Govinda Das, all the great Vaishnavas, they say just the opposite. I don't want to be controlled by these people. No. I want to be controlled by Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said once that, he said, when I was young, I said, my friends, they all accepted me as the leader. I was always the leader. The Prabhupada said, no one could control me. And Prabhupada said, still, no one can control me. Only Krishna. And no one can control Krishna, only Srimati Radharani. So this should be our mentality. That, of course, being controlled by Krishna means being controlled by Krishna's devotees. Especially when we're in the neophyte or even the Madhyam platform, then we are very attached to being controlled by the devotees. We don't want to do anything without the authorization of the Vaishnavas. Baladev Vidyabhushan, he begged Govinda to reveal the Vedanta within his heart. And then he went to all the Vaishnavas and he prayed, please give me the ability, that my Guru Maharaj has given me this responsibility to Vedanta, because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he was a little indisposed at the time. And he was requested, please give a commentary on Vedanta. But by that time in his life, he had already given his Bhagavatam conclusions, his Bhagavatam commentaries. And he was absorbed in Krishna Lila. And then to go back and do Vedanta? No. He said, no, Baladev, he likes these things. No, let him do it. But even then, Baladev didn't think, well, my Guru told me to do it, that's enough. No, he prayed to Govinda, please, I am so fallen. He was a Mahabhagavat. But I'm so fallen, I cannot understand Vedanta. Please reveal it within my heart. And then once he did it, he begged all the devotees. He begged them, first of all, please give me the ability to do it, and afterwards, please see that this is done properly. No? Even Ishwara Puri, when he came in contact with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, I have written this book, that about Krishna Vijay. So please review this book and tell me if there's any problem. And Mahaprabhu said, because you have written it, there is no question of correcting it. No. If you have written it, then there's no question. No. There may be some grammatical error there, but I cannot touch it. It is so perfect because it is coming from your lotus hand, from your lotus lips. I cannot touch it. No. So, this is Krishna. He's so merciful. And even though we may have so many difficulties and so many problems, He's so merciful to us. He's giving us the opportunity to engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness. Even though we may be druk, we may be rebellious. So if we're too rebellious, what does Krishna do? He takes, if He loves us, and if we're showing some affinity, some desire to serve Him, then He takes away the impediments. And what are the impediments in our life? I may think, well, my impediments are taxes and, this and that. But Krishna says the impediments are everything you want to do, everything you like, everything you want to enjoy. This is your impediment. If we can dovetail, if we can use those things in Krishna's service, then if you're expert in Yuktya Vairagya, sometimes we use this term very loosely. We think Yukta Vairagya means, just everything I'll offer to Krishna somehow or another. But Rupa Goswami says, no, upayungjataha. It must be done with great determination, discernment must be there. Exactly. You must know how to offer things. All these material things, you must know how to offer them in Krishna's service. Not that it's just not some informal thing. Oh, Yukta Vairagya. Yeah, everything I have I'll use for Krishna. No, the full consciousness must be absorbed. The object must be offered with love and devotion. Not that somehow or another I offer it to Krishna. No, somehow or another I consider it to be Krishna's. But really, my consciousness is, it's mine. No. So, Yukta Vairagya is not such an easy thing. No. Then, he says, Anapabharga Virdya, that his prowess, that Parasya Shaktir Vibidhai Vashuyate Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha, that he has unlimited energies to do everything. And those energies are inexhaustible. Param Abhyayam. Krishna says many times in Bhagavad Gita, he uses this word, Abhyayam, inexhaustible. It has no beginning, it has no end. It cannot be diminished. His potency, his energies. And what to speak of his personal relationship with the devotees. That is totally under the jurisdiction of Yoga Maya. It's never can be interfered with. And everything else is dealt with automatically by his energies. But with his devotee, Krishna directs his Yoga Maya to the devotee. And Yoga Maya directs the devotee to Krishna. This reciprocation is going on. Reciprocity between the Lord and his devotee. Never. It's always very personal. But that means we must be a devotee. No. Sometimes we also use the term devotee very loosely. We consider ourselves devotees. It's like I always hear, when I became a devotee, and I say, wow, very fortunate. No, I'm still working on it. So when I became a devotee in 1973, I say, wow, you're really doing good? No. Great. This term, of course we say that because we want to be devotees. No. But when does one become a devotee? When one is fully dedicated to Krishna's service 24 hours a day. That is devotee. No. The very word, devotee, from the French, or devotee in Latin, devotare, means to take up the vow. No. It means to live the vow. That's what it technically means, devotee. You must live the vows, every vow, chanting your rounds, following the principles, dedicating yourself fully to Krishna's service. This is what we promise when we're initiated into Krishna consciousness. So it's not some cheap thing, not some easy thing. So then, Govinda. So first of all, she says, Govinda, you are the proprietor of the transcendental abode. That transcendental abode, Chintamani, Pakara Sadmashu, Kalpavriksha. Where every tree is Kalpavriksha, where every cow is fulfilling all desires. The trees are fulfilling all desires. The cows are giving unlimited milk in the form of Krishna Prem. They're giving so much love to Krishna that they're very special. So Govinda, Krishna, he's the proprietor of Goloka Vrindavan and also Gokula Vrindavan. There is no impropriety in these places. But then he says, again, go dvija sura, arti. No? That arti hara, avatar. That when you become an avatar, otherwise when you come to this material world, then you come to protect, to arti hara. Arti hara. Arti means distress. You take away the distress of the cows and the Brahmins and the Suras. No. So, these things, this is done in the material world. There's no reason to do that in the spiritual world. So, in the spiritual world, you're Govinda. And in the material world, you're also Govinda. But you specifically, in the avatar form, when you come here to this world, you take care of the cows, and you take care of the Brahmins, and you take care of the devotees. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says that civilization means these three things. That you protect the cows, that Dvija, you follow the Brahminical culture, and Sura, the devotees. What do devotees do? They love Krishna. So these three things, in order to have civilization, you must have these three things. Protect the cows, follow Brahminical culture, which means not everybody is a Brahmin, but everyone follows the Brahminical culture. That Brahminical culture means the Brahmins are in charge. What they say, that's what we do. No, that's Brahminical culture. Not that give some little, nowadays in India, give some little few rupees to the Brahmin and send him on his way. No. That's what Srila Prabhupada said, that nowadays people are so puffed up that a devotee comes to someone's house and people think, just see, Krishna cannot provide. I have to provide. I am greater than Krishna. No. This is the mentality. No. What's wrong? Krishna couldn't give you something? No, I'll give you some rupees. No. Go away. No, don't bother me anymore. I'm very busy. No. Making more money for myself, not for you. No. And not for Krishna. So, this is a horrible mentality. No. These three things. And love of God must be there. Love of God must be the purpose of society. Otherwise, the society is useless. Contaminated. Useless society. And then, Yogeshwar Akila Guru. No. You are Yogeshwar. No. You are the source and the fountainhead of all yogic powers, of all mysticism. Now, Yogeshwar has another meaning in terms of mysticism. Because mystical implies that I don't know. Otherwise, if something is mysterious, it means that I don't understand it. Right? If something is a mystery, I don't understand it. So Yogeshwar means that person who can dissolve, who can eliminate all mysteries, all confusion, all ignorance. This is Yogeshwar. The Ishwara of yoga. He who dispels all mysticism. Rajavidya, Rajaguyam. Rajavidya, he gives all transcendental knowledge. And Rajaguyam, he is anything that is mysterious, that is difficult to understand, that we cannot conceive of. Krishna will solve it immediately by His holy name. By chanting the holy name, first of all, we don't want to know about this material world. It's not so interesting. No. As long as we're interested in the material world, it means that we have not accepted Krishna as Rajaguyam. Just by knowing Krishna, just by worshipping Krishna, just by seeing Krishna, everything, every mystery in this world is solved. Whereas scientists, philosophers, they continue to try to understand by their mental and intellectual ability, try to figure out, as they say, with a God particle. Let me find that particle which is irreducible, and once we find this, we figured it all out. Once we can harness this little particle. I read an article like a year ago. Someone sent it to me. Maybe it was someone from the Bhaktivedanta Institute. That it said, they were talking about the God particle, and they said they thought they had it. No, they actually saw it. But then, because it's so small, it went right out of the reactor, passed through Switzerland, and went into England somewhere. No. They couldn't find it anymore. No, like, it escaped. But next time they'll catch it. No, next time they'll harness this little particle when they get it. No, then everything is solved. All mysteries are solved. So they love mystery, because mystery means as long as I try to figure it out, I try to understand what is life about, what is everything about, then I don't have to surrender. I surrender to my intelligence, but I don't surrender to Krishna. But when you surrender to Krishna, then all these things will be solved. We may have to go through the motions of understanding this world. You go to school, you go to the university. But for a devotee, just like two of our great acharyas, Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they were both married, and also just those two particularly. They were both married, especially Vishwanath. But when he got married, he just sat around and read the Bhagavatam to his wife all day long. And then finally she left, and he said, "Oh, okay, now." That was her decision. He just couldn't do any of the Bhagavatam was so beautiful, so wonderful, he couldn't do anything else. And then she left. Even one of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he said the same thing. I was married, I didn't have any children, then I met my Guru Maharaj. And then my wife left, and Krishna's arrangement. He wasn't lamenting. Of course, we have to be responsible in marriage. But these are great acharyas, great devotees. So they can do these things. Mahaprabhu, he left his wife at 16 years old. He could do that. Srila Prabhupada said, you can do that if you dedicate yourself to a higher cause. But in our movement, we don't allow that because too many people do it for a lower cause. Some people, we thought in the beginning, just like Srila Prabhupada, one time he gave sannyas to one devotee because his wife had left her body. So Prabhupada called him in. He said, "So?" And the devotee said, "Yes, Srila Prabhupada, I'm considering what to do." And Prabhupada said, "There's only one thing to do. You take sannyas." And he said, like Prabhupada, that's not what I was thinking. But anyway, Prabhupada gave him sannyas, but he didn't last, unfortunately. Another devotee, I think it was Dayananda, he didn't want to be temple president. So Prabhupada wanted him to be temple president, but he didn't want to accept. So Prabhupada called him in the room, and he said, "So I think you are one of my senior disciples. Now I think you should take sannyas." "What?" Srila Prabhupada, No, I've only been married a few years. I'm not ready." No. Just think of Mahaprabhu. He took sannyas at only 24 years. So you're much older. You're like 38, 39 years old. You should take sannyas. "No, Prabhupada, I'm not ready." No, it's not a question of being ready. It's simply, you will be empowered. Krishna will help you. So I want you to take sannyas. "No, Srila Prabhupada, I'll do anything." I said, "Then you become temple president." "Okay, Srila Prabhupada, I accept." Srila Prabhupada was transcendental trickery. Just like we read this morning in the Namamrita. That tricks. Krishna has his tricks. Mahaprabhu has his tricks. All the acharyas, they have their tricks. But everything is meant to bring us to Krishna. So whatever is meant to bring us to Krishna, that is authorized. Authorized. Up to a certain point. Sometimes devotees would get a little carried away, like collecting funds. They had to change up, things like that. That was a little too far. And then Akila Guru. You are the universal Guru. Bhagavan. You are the possessor of all opulences. and namaste. Therefore I offer my obeisances to you. Srila Prabhupada, one time, the devotees brought in a picture of one record album from the famous musician Jimi Hendrix. And they showed Srila Prabhupada, because on this album, he had the universal form, but instead of Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva, he had himself and his bass player and his drummer. He put their heads in there. So they showed that to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, this kind of God we reject. He said, Krishna is not ugly like him. Still, even though he said that, I don't know if Jimi Hendrix ever heard, but he liked the devotees. He actually liked the devotees. But he got a little carried away, putting his head in Vishnu's place. So, namaste. In order to offer obeisances to Krishna properly, you must see Krishna in this way, as Queen Kunti is seeing him. If we want to properly offer obeisances, then, just like we're singing Yashomati Nandana, Rajabharunhagara Gokula Ranjana Kana. If we analyze that song, or another song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, glorifying Krishna in so many different pastimes, Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravesha. If we examine these songs, we see this is a description of Vrindavan. Or as Srila Prabhupada said, what we chant every day. We chant that Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Prabhupada said this is the window. This is the window to see the spiritual world. Everything is there in this song. And Yashomati Nanda, everything is there. Krishna. Krishna Nam Sankirtan. By Krishna Nam Sankirtan, by chanting these bhajans, we see Krishna. So we shouldn't just chant them mechanically. While we're chanting this Yashomati, we should be meditating on all these different names of Krishna and what do they represent. And then we'll feel like we shouldn't think, let me get this over with so I can go eat. Let me get this over with, then I have to sit through the class, and then I can finally do what I want to do. This should not be our mentality. Going through some ritual. Here's the bhajan ritual, now here's the class ritual, and now I can do what I want. First the japa ritual, then the bhajan ritual, then the class ritual, then the service ritual, and then I can do what I want. This is our disease in our heart. We think all these, I'll do these things because maybe it'll save me from going to hell, or give me some piety, or give me some benedictions, so when I do what I want, it will be more wonderful. With all these Krishna's blessings, then when I do what I want, then it'll be very wonderful. I'll be very happy. So, it should be the other way around. What I have to do every day, work, family, friends, this is mechanical. Because I have to do the same thing every day. But the real richness in life is when I can enter into the holy name, when I can enter into Krishna Bhajan, when I can enter into the mysteries of the Bhagavatam, and they will be revealed to me, and the mysteries of Bhagavad Gita will be revealed to me. This is reality, not this other stuff. I have to do every day, go to work, deal with people, buy this, sell this, do this, do that, take care of the kid, give him a bath. It's the same thing. But as long as we're materially attached, then this is the nectar, and everything else is drudgery. So we have to change our whole perspective, and that where everything related to Krishna Bhakti is the essence, is the nectar, and all these other things, it's what I have to do to keep this body going, keep the soul within the realm of this wonderful opportunity that Krishna has given me by the mercy of the Vaishnavas that I have to perform devotional service. So we have to switch our mentality. Ishad Pretasya Vipadeyo Ashmiti. In the Bhagavatam it says that material life means that you have put everything in reverse. That instead of Krishna being that I supply service to Krishna, I want Krishna to supply everything to me, which he does anyway. But that's not my desire. My desire is, Krishna, you've given me everything, therefore let me serve you. No, this should be our mentality. So this is what Kunti Devi is doing here. She is offering to Krishna his due respect. And this is, of course, this is condensed. The Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is condensed. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says, this Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is just one drop. But I wanted to speak more, but then it would become too voluminous. And also Vrindavan Thakur, he said, the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are like an ocean, and this is just one drop. No, just one drop of nectar. Because if we try to describe everything, then the book, I would never have time to finish it, and the book would become too voluminous. If any book is too voluminous in this material world, then nobody wants to read it. No. Especially nowadays in Kali Yuga. No. So, Krishnadas and Vrindavan Das, they wrote their scriptures in Kali Yuga. No. Chaitanya Charitamrita was so unpopular that Bhaktivinoda Thakur couldn't even find a copy. No. Because everybody had their own conception of devotional service. When we have our own conception of devotional service, then we're not so interested in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and Chaitanya Charitamrita. I just invent my own process, which is very convenient for me. No. We were discussing this. I'll do my offering when I want. I'll do it like I want. I'll do this like I want. I'll chant how I want. No. And this is not parampara. Parampara means we ask, how do I do it? How can I perfect it? How can I make it better? How can I enrich it and make it more wonderful? This should be our aspiration in life. How can I enrich my bhakti? So anyway, these are some thoughts on this verse. I'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Okay. But theoretically, yeah. Mm-hmm. It was very black and white. Yeah. So then we have somewhat in a phase of movement. But here in Trinidad, there are certain temples where a lot of people do live in the ashram, keep joining the ashram. But here, create have a new social movement and things like that. So we have more devotees within a home and practice. Pretty much everywhere, except for India. So then that now, when we lived in the ashram, we were trained in this process, parampara. Everything we did was, it had to be authorized, and there were devotees who were authorized to who we would follow. And in doing that, we knew that we were following our guru. Because, again, then was that the guru wasn't physically present in every temple. So, now because, things have shifted a little bit, so that you have a lot of devotees live from the beginning, living on the outside, become initiated
observation. When we don't get that initial training, sometimes it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to accept authority, to accept someone representing spiritual master and things like that. And so we find ourselves in a lot of difficult situations because of this. But then you made the point of, Krishna says that if one says that he's my devotee, he's not my devotee, but the one who is the devotee of my devotee, then he is my devotee. So how does one, accept, how does one come to this point where, because at the end of the day, as you're right to say, we accept so many things. We go to work and we have a boss who tells us what to do, and we don't complain, and we don't drop our job. We don't next morning say, I'm not going back to work. But if we come to the temple and we are told certain things, nobody should tell us anything. We're going to drop our service. So this mentality, how do we come to terms with that this is our service practitioner?
I was just thinking about this morning, how we need to, because our movement is so congregationally oriented now, we need to have, regular programs where, especially people who want to get initiated, that they should, be trained. They should be coming some weekends or some seminars, everything. They should have to go. Now we have a bhakta. It's not obligatory yet, but it will be soon. At the disciple seminar. And of course, we need more than that. And I was just thinking about that. And even after people are initiated, to train them, because it is a congregational movement. Although it is interesting that in 1975, Srila Prabhupada said, it was 74. Prabhupada wrote in a letter that we should not be very anxious that people live in the ashram. He said, first they should come hear Bhagavad Gita and acquire a taste for austerity. Otherwise they will go away embittered. But nobody took that very seriously. Otherwise, Prabhupada was actually saying that bringing everybody into the ashram was creating a disturbance, because Prabhupada was seeing so many disturbances, so many people that were not qualified to live in the ashram were living in the ashram. And therefore, they got trained, but they really didn't understand the essence of the training. This was what I saw behind that letter. So, but the point is that, Prabhupada says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when he's speaking about Kurma Brahman, one purport, he says, actually, it is not necessary that anyone takes sannyas. Prabhupada said, no one should take sannyas. Everyone can be married and live comfortably in their home and chant Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada would say different things at different times. But yes, training is necessary, especially if people are going to take second initiation. Many people here have taken second initiation on the plea of, we need somebody in the altar. But then generally speaking, I see when people take it like that, after a few months, there's no more altar service. Generally speaking, not in all cases. And even first initiation, if we don't train people and really let them understand what is the meaning, then they're not so anxious to come and do service. And they take second initiation, they're not so anxious to come and serve the deity, or not so anxious to cook for the deity, or not so anxious to perform the activities of second initiation. So, this is something that we're discussing. How can we increase the training so that people will have that basic understanding of what to do in devotional service. And like you say, that this we just spoke about rebellion. So this rebellious attitude that nobody can tell me what to do is just foolishness. Or getting angry because somebody tries to correct me. This is like, the epitome of ignorance. That a devotee is just the opposite. If we're actually devotees, we're just the opposite. We want everyone to tell us what to do. Because we're saying, Prabhu, they say, Prabhu, you're my master, but you can't tell me what to do. That's an incongruous statement. No, Prabhu, I'm not going to do that. So you should say, no, Das, I'm not going to do that. No. Because if you say Prabhu and you say I'm not going to do it, then it's incongruous. So these are some of the things we have to straighten out in our minds and in the consciousness of the people. Getting angry because someone instructs us, getting angry because someone corrects us. We should be so anxious. I remember when I was around 19, I guess it was 77, I was chanting, maybe 78, I was chanting in Vrindavan, and one older devotee came up to me and said, "You're not chanting the mantra properly." No. And immediately my mind said, I'm chanting, I know I'm chanting right. So I kind of said, no, I'm hearing it properly. He said, all right, but I don't hear it properly. Then I thought afterwards, how foolish am I? No, I should be thinking this is Krishna's mercy. I should be examining myself. This devotee is giving me mercy, and I'm rejecting his mercy. So we should, we have a natural, our ego kicks in all the time, and we have a tendency to, reject when people instruct us for something. But at least we should be intelligent enough to think, no, this is foolish, false ego. Let me take the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Otherwise, what is the mercy of the Vaishnava? It's not some electromagnetic energy that just invisibly floats into my head and now I'm Krishna conscious. No. The mercy of the Vaishnavas means they tell us what to do. No. That is their mercy. They tell us what to do, or they engage us in devotional service. That is their mercy. It's not some invisible force that just gives me some blessings so that I can enjoy material life. But that's what our false ego wants. I want this electromagnetic blessing that will allow me to enjoy material life. This is not the purpose. So it's a good point. We need to train the devotees. But before I can train the devotees, I have to accept training. I see many times somebody wants to be an authority, but they don't want to accept an authority. No. I want to have a position. I want to have a post. I want to tell people what to do, but no one can tell me what to do. So this is also a big incongruity. Leader, Prabhupada said, leader means servant. No. First, before you can be a leader, you have to be a servant. And even in the materialistic society now, that's what they're teaching. To be like an executive, you work your way through the ranks. You have to be told what to do and be trained and work under somebody. Then you can be an executive. Not that you come in and be an executive, no. Or that I get a little training and now I'm an executive, but the superior executive can't tell me what to do. You'll never find that in the corporate structure. You'll never find it anywhere except somehow or another in ISKCON. No. You won't find it in any other organization, especially when people are paid. Then you have to do what they say, But because we're volunteers, then we think, no, One Gaudiya Matacharya, he told me one time, he said, nowadays, the guru has to beg the disciple, please, can you go on the altar? No. And they may or may not accept. And then he said, and then they hold you ransom. Yeah, okay, I'll do it, but I need this and that, and this and that. He said, there's always some ransom there. That it's not like, yes, Guru Dev. It's like, yeah, okay, I can do it, but I need some facility, and I need this, and I have to have a special room, and I have to have a special diet, and I have to have a special this, I have to have a special that. So this is the mentality. And that was, somebody living in Mayapur, where you would expect that people would be a little more surrendered. He was saying that for me from the point of view of Mayapur, what to speak of Trinidad. No. So if he's perceiving that in Mayapur, what to speak of what we're perceiving in Trinidad. So this is Kali Yuga. And therefore Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us the holy name. When everything else fails, I have the holy name. So I think, okay. The benediction is that I can do service. That's the benediction. That's the only benediction we should be looking for. No. I could do some service. So we'll stop here. All glory to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.